Issue number 26, we're going to meet the mechanic and we're going to have a funeral for a friend as we get ready to say goodbye to Optimus Prime. We have Ratchet, the Autobots medic, trying furiously to put Optimus Prime back together again, while the rest of the Autobots watch on in hope and in anticipation. Unfortunately for them, he couldn't make it happen. Optimus Prime is officially dead, and they have to make plans to have a funeral for a friend. The one Autobot that won't be there though is Ratchet, because this is weighing heavily on Ratchet's mind. Also, one really important thing we need to know is that Omega Supreme set up this automatic defense system for the base, and no, it's not that complicated. It's just a big on and off lever. So we get most of the Autobots taking off so they can pay respect to Optimus Prime in their way, while Ratchet stays at the base and kind of mopes around, and even feels guilty for some of the Autobots who've been injured in battle, but he hadn't had the chance or the parts to fix them up and get them back to full capacity. He decides to go to a local junkyard to see what parts he can find, and maybe he can make himself useful. He ends up with two involuntary passengers, one a criminal who calls himself the mechanic, while the police are giving chase to Ratchet, who doesn't want to reveal himself, and these two criminals. The mechanic finds a couple of Ratchet's medical tools, which can also be used for weapons. But once they get to a safe place, Ratchet is forced to reveal himself, and the mechanic gets all kind of ideas. So the mechanic follows Ratchet back to the base. He sneaks in behind Ratchet before Ratchet can turn the defense system back on, and he manages to sneak up on Ratchet with one of his tools still and shoots Ratchet in the kneecap. He fashions himself a legitimate criminal, and maybe with some Autobot weaponry, he can be that. And as the rest of the Autobots are pulling back up to the base, they turn off the defense systems by remote, but the mechanic is right next to the lever, and so he turns it back on, and the Autobots basically can't get into the base. And meanwhile, the mechanic, yep, you guessed it, shot Ratchet in the other kneecap. So now Ratchet can't run. Ratchet feels bad because he's not really a fighter. Ratchet was able to transform and get back to the section of the base where all of the deactivated Autobots are, and somehow he's able to activate Prowl, the Autobot that turns into a police car. And he gets out of the base pronto, which in turn allows Ratchet to turn off the defense system. The book basically wraps up with First Aid and Ratchet outside patching some of the Autobots up, and Ratchet realizing that yes, he still has to be there for the living, and he's basically gained his confidence back.